Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and Pranam, Shri Srila Prabhupada. Very well to Ramachandra Prabhu, Ritesh Prabhu, and Arti Mataji for leading the chanting this morning. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Okay, so as it is the month of Mahaprabhu, March of Mahaprabhu, so we will continue with some more Vaishnava bhajans and ashtakams glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today, this week, our prayer of the week will be Sri Chaitanya Ashtakam by Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. So we will sing this and then we'll read the translation. So this is sung exactly in the same meter as Jagannath Ashtakam. Sadopasya Shriman Dhritamanujakayi Pranayitam Vahadbhirgirbaణैr Girisha Parameshthi Pravratibhi Swabhaktebhya Shuddhash Nija Bhajana Mudram Upadishan Sachaitanyah Kim Me Punarapi Drishoryasya Padam Sureshanam Durgam Gatiratishayeno Panishadam Muninam Sarvasvam Pranata Patalina Madhurima Viniryasya Premno Nikhila Pashupalam Bhujadrisham Sachaitanyah Kim Me Punarapi Drishoryasya Padam Swarupam Bibhrano Jagadatulam Advaita Daitah Prapanna Srivaso Janita Paramananda Garima Haridino Dhari Gajapati Kripote Shakataralaha Sachaitanyah Kim Me Punarapi Drishoryasya Padam Rasoddama Kamar Buddhamadhuradhamojvalatanur Yatinamuttam Sas Taranikara Vidyoti Vasanah Hiranyanam Lakshmi Bharama Vibhavan Angikarucha Sachaitanyah Kim Me Punarapi Drishoryasya Padam Hare Krishnetyuchai Spurita Rasano Nama Ganana Krita Granthi Shreni Subhaga Katisu Sutrojvalakaraha Vishalaksho Dirghar Galayugalakhelanchita Bhujah Sachaitanyah Kim Me Punarapi Drishoryasya Padam Payorashe Stire Spuradyupavanali Kalanaya Muhur Vrindaranya Smarana Janita Prema Vivashah Kvachit Krishna Vritti Prachala Rasano Bhakti Rasikah Sachaitanyah Kim Me Punarapi Drishoryasya Padam Radharudhasyarad Adipadavinila Chalapater Adabra Premormi Spurita Natanolasa Vivashah Saharsham Gayadbihi Parivrata Tanur Vaishnava Janai Sachaitanyah Kim Me Punarapi Drishoryasya Padam Bhuvam Sinchan Ashru Shrutibirabhitah Sandra Pulakai Paritango Nipa Stabaka Navakinjal Kajaibihi Ghana Sveda Stoma Stimita Tanur Utkirtana Sukhi Sachaitanyah Kim Me Punarapi Drishoryasya Padam Adhite Gauranga Smarana Padavi Mangalataram Kritiyo Vishrambha Spuradamaladhirashtakamidam Paranande Sadyas Tadamalapad तदमलपदाम्भोजयुगले परिस्फारतस्य स्फुरतु नितरां प्रेमलहरी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य अष्टकम की जय। श्रीला रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जगत गुरु श्रीला भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। Okay, anybody who would like to read the translation? Anyone? If not, then I'll continue. Okay, let me read. Hare Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always the most worshipable deity of the demigods, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, who came in the garb of ordinary men, bearing love for him. He instructs his own pure devotional service to his own devotees. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the protector of the demigods, the supreme goal of the Upanishads, the be-all and end-all of the great sages, the beautiful shelter of his devotees, and the essence of the love of the lotus-eyed gopis. Will he again be visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has manifested his own form, which cannot be compared to anything in the material universe. He is very dear to Advaita Acharya, and Srivas Pandit is surrendered to him. He is very respectful to Paramananda Puri. He takes away the ignorance of the material world and delivers the conditioned souls suffering from the threefold misery. He showered his mercy on Maharaj Prataprudra, the king of Orissa. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes maddened by tasting the mellows of devotional service. His effulgent form is the abode of sweetness for millions of cupids, and he is the crest jewel of sannyasis. His garments display the effulgence of the sun, and the splendor of his body eclipses the beauty of gold. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chants the Hare Krishna mantra in a loud voice, the holy name dancing on his tongue as he counts the number of recitations on a beautiful knotted string held in his effulgent hand. His eyes are large, and his long arms, bending as he performs his pastimes, reach down to his knees. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the topmost of all devotees. Sometimes, while walking on the beach, he would see a beautiful garden nearby and mistake it for the forest of Vrindavan. He would thus be completely overwhelmed by ecstatic love of Krishna and begin to chant the holy name and dance. His tongue worked incessantly as he chanted, Krishna, Krishna. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced down the main road in great ecstasy before Lord Jagannath, the master of Nilachal, who was sitting on his car, overwhelmed by the transcendental bliss of dancing and surrounded by the Vaishnavas who sang the holy names. He manifested waves of ecstatic love of Godhead. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became joyful during the loud chanting of the holy names, and he sprinkled the earth with showers of his tears. All the hairs of his body, standing on end, appeared like beautiful filaments of fresh kadamba blossoms, and his body glistened with profuse perspiration. Will he again become visible before the path of my eyes? May the great ocean, full of wave of pure love for the two white lotus flowers of the feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, become immediately manifested at every moment to whatever pious person reads these 8 most auspicious verses, his pure intelligence shining with faith as he meditates on Lord Gauranga. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Yes, as we said at the beginning, this prayer, this Vaishnava bhajan, this Chaitanya Ashtakam by Sri Rupa Goswami is in the same melody as Sri Jagannath Ashtakam. And so it was very nice that as we were reading, Mahaprabhu is dancing in ecstasy before Lord Jagannath's cart, Rath, and also just as we say, Jagannatha Swami, Nayanapatagami Bhavatume. You always be visible before the path of my eyes, O Lord Jagannath. Similarly, in the same mood, Rupa Goswami has composed this nice bhajan for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that before we approach the Lord, we approach the devotees of the Lord, right? That's the proper way to approach the Lord, not directly going to Krishna, but always serving the lotus feet of his devotees, pure devotees. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we read, is the topmost of the devotees, because he is none other than the mood of Srimati Radharani, who is the most exalted devotee of the Lord. So, by praying to Lord Gauranga, we can easily achieve the mercy of all the predecessor acharyas and going all the way up to the lordships. So, in that mood, let's continue with our next book. So, we successfully completed our reading of Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit last week, after starting it more than a year ago. Again, these books are eternal, the instructions are eternal, so we should always carry the instructions in our heart. Srila Prabhupada is never far away, he's always there with us every day, every morning through his books. So today we will continue with the next book in our series that we are reading of these Srila Prabhupada books, starting all the way from the small books. Now we have come into the medium books, category 2 books, and after Prabhupada Leelamrit, we are currently reading Teachings of Queen Kunti in our evening readings. But the next book is Teachings of Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti. So let's continue with this wonderful book. And Kapil Dev, as we know, is none other than incarnation of Lord, who came as the son of Mother Devahuti and Kardama Muni. So, and all of his teachings are there in Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, but these are additional details that Srila Prabhupada shared during his lectures when he was in India. So we'll start with the foreword, and then we'll go on this wonderful journey, catching hold onto the wonderful lotus palms of Srila Prabhupada as his little grandsons, granddaughters. We can walk with Srila Prabhupada as he teaches us newer and newer things to imbibe in our hearts as we walk on this devotional service, path of devotional service. Okay, so let's start with the foreword. Kapila Muni, a renowned sage of antiquity, is the author of the philosophical system known as Sankhya, which forms an important part of India's ancient philosophical heritage. Sankhya is both a system of metaphysics dealing with the elemental principles of the physical universe and a system of spiritual knowledge with its own methodology, culminating in full consciousness of the Supreme Absolute. Kapila, however, is not an ordinary philosopher or sage. According to Vedic tradition, the tradition of India's ancient scriptural literature, he himself is an avatar, incarnation of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Kapila's teachings are originally inscribed in the Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Puran, one of the most important scriptural documents of the Vedic theism. Within the Bhagavatam, Kapila's teachings comprise chapters 25 through 33 of the third canto. This book, Teachings of Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is based on a unique series of lectures presented in Mumbai, India, in the spring of 1974 by His Divine Grace, Abhay Sharanaravindas Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. In this series, Srila Prabhupada spoke from the 25th chapter, which contains the beginning of Lord Kapila's teachings. Srila Prabhupada is the author of a celebrated multi-volume translation and commentary on the entire text of the Bhagavatam, and at the time of the Kapila lectures, he had already completed his written commentary on the section of the Bhagavatam dealing with Kapil Dev's teachings. In these special lectures, however, Srila Prabhupada went into significantly greater detail in elucidating the verses and shed an even broader light upon these fascinating teachings. The text begins with the words of Shaunaka, the foremost of the sages of Naimisharanya, the vastly learned sages to whom Srimad Bhagavatam was originally spoken some thousands of years ago. The sages have already heard about Lord Kapil Dev from Suta Goswami, an exalted spiritual master, and it is clear from Shaunaka's words that they accept Kapila Muni as being an incarnation of the Lord himself, and as therefore being the highest authority on yoga and transcendental knowledge. In recounting the history of Lord Kapila, Suta Goswami, in accordance with Vedic principles for presenting spiritual knowledge, refers to discourse by great spiritual masters who have previously discussed the same subject. In this case, Suta Goswami refers to a discussion between Vidura and the great sage Maitreya, who was a friend of Vyasadeva, the original compiler of the Vedic literature. As Suta Goswami has already described, Lord Kapila appeared in this world as the son of Kardama Muni, a master of mystic yoga, and his wife, Devahuti. Both Kardama Muni and Devahuti were aware of the divinity of their son. Indeed, even before Kapila's birth, Lord Brahma himself, the chief created person in this universe, had appeared before Devahuti and revealed to her that her son was to be an incarnation of the Supreme Lord, and that this incarnation would enlighten her with spiritual knowledge. According to the Vedic social system, a man with a grown son may accept the order of sannyas, thus renouncing all connections with his family and worldly life, and entrust his wife to the care of his son, Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni of course knew that his son was an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Yet to honor this Vedic system and emphasize its importance, he too eventually accepted sannyas, entrusting his wife Devahuti to the care of his divine son, Kapil Dev. Therefore, as Suta Goswami begins to answer Shaunaka's request to hear further about Lord Kapil Dev, the sages have already been informed of how Kardama Muni departed for the forest, leaving Kapil Dev behind with Devahuti. After Kardama Muni's departure, Devahuti, remembering the prophetic words of Lord Brahma, approaches her divine son and humbly expresses her desire for spiritual enlightenment. My Lord, I have fallen into the abyss of ignorance. Your Lordship is my only means of getting out of this darkest region of ignorance, because you are my transcendental I, which by your mercy only I have attained after many, many births. Now, be pleased, my Lord, to dispel my great delusion. You are the axe which can cut the tree of material existence. I therefore offer my obeisances unto you, who are the greatest of all transcendentalists, and I inquire from you as to the relationship between man and woman and between spirit and matter. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25 verse 7 to 11. Pleased by his mother's pure desire for spiritual enlightenment and feeling great compassion for her, Kapila began to speak on the Sankhya philosophy. Now, what is Sankhya? Insofar as Sankhya deals with the elemental categories or principles of the physical universe, Sankhya is what Western scholars generally refer to as metaphysics. The term Sankhya literally means to count. This name is used because Sankhya philosophy enumerates principles of cosmic evolution by rational analysis. The etymological meaning of the word Sankhya is that which explains very lucidly by analysis of material elements. Philosophically, this term is used because the Sankhya system expounds analytical knowledge that enables one to distinguish between matter and spirit. This understanding culminates in bhakti, devotion for and service to the Supreme. It may be said, therefore, that Sankhya and bhakti form two aspects of the same process, bhakti being the ultimate goal or the ultimate aspect of Sankhya. It is interesting to note at this point that long after Lord Kapila's descent, an imitation Kapila appeared on the Indian subcontinent and propounded a non-theistic Sankhya. That which is generally studied as Sankhya in the contemporary academic context is actually this later non-theistic materialistic Sankhya. The Sankhya philosophy propounded by the original Kapila is practically unknown in the West. Teachings of Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, along with Srila Prabhupada's complete commentary on Kapila's Sankhya in his edition of Srimad Bhagavatam, is probably the first major exposition in the English language on the original theistic Sankhya. It should therefore be of considerable interest to scholars in this field. Because the basic principle and the ultimate goal of Lord Kapil Dev's Sankhya philosophy is bhakti, this is the subject with which Lord Kapil Dev begins his instructions to Mother Devahuti. Consequently, because this volume, Teachings of Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is Srila Prabhupada's commentary on the beginning of Lord Kapila's teachings, it is chiefly concerned with the science of Bhakti Yoga, the process of linking with God. Yoga means linking through bhakti, devotion. As the actual history begins, Devahuti approaches her son, Kapila, and with great humility expresses a sincere desire for spiritual enlightenment. In response, Lord Kapila delineates the path of the transcendentalists who are interested in self-realization. Concisely summarizing the actual process of self-realization, Kapila defines consciousness in both the conditioned and liberated states. He describes the psychology of pure consciousness, delineates the symptoms and characteristics of a sadhu, holy person, and stresses the importance of sadhu sangha, association with those who are saintly. Kapil Dev then explains that liberation is merely a stage preliminary to the attainment of bhakti, and that one who attains bhakti automatically achieves liberation. One who engages in bhakti, devotional yoga, automatically transcends material desires and ultimately crosses beyond birth and death. According to later descriptions in Srimad Bhagavatam, Devahuti ultimately attains full enlightenment in transcendental knowledge by hearing and understanding the sublime philosophical teachings of her great son. The publishers. Okay, so let's continue with first chapter. The purpose of Lord Kapila's advent. Text 1. Shaunaka Vacha. Kapilas tattva sankhyata Bhagavan Atma Mayaya Jatah Swayam Aja Sakshad Atma Pragyaptaye Nirnam. Sri Shaunaka said, although he is unborn, the Supreme Personality of Godhead took birth as Kapila Muni by his internal potency. He descended to disseminate transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the whole human race. The word Atma Pragyaptaye indicates that the Lord descends for the benefit of the human race to give transcendental knowledge. Material necessities are quite sufficiently provided for in the knowledge given in the Vedic literatures, which offer a program for good living and gradual elevation to the platform of Sattva Guna, the mode of goodness. Once one is situated in Sattva Guna, one's knowledge expands. On the platform of passion, there is no knowledge, for passion is an impetus to enjoy material benefits. On the platform of ignorance, there is neither knowledge nor enjoyment, but simply animalistic living. The Vedas are intended to elevate one from the mode of ignorance to the mode of goodness. When one is situated in the mode of goodness, he is able to understand knowledge of the self or transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge cannot be appreciated by any ordinary man. Therefore, a disciplic succession is required. This knowledge is expounded either by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself or by his bona fide devotee. Shaunaka Muni also states here that Kapila, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, took birth or appeared simply to disseminate transcendental knowledge. To understand that one is not matter but spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi, I am by nature Brahman, is not sufficient for understanding the self and his activities. One must be situated in the activities of Brahman. Knowledge of those activities is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Such transcendental knowledge can be appreciated in human society but not in animal society, as clearly indicated here by the word Nirnam, for the human beings. Human beings are meant to lead a regulated life. By nature, there is regulation in animal life also, but that is not like the regulated life described in the scriptures or by the Vedic authorities. Only when one's life is regulated according to the Vedas can one understand transcendental knowledge. For the propagation of this transcendental knowledge, Kapila Dev, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, gave instructions in Sankhya philosophy to his mother, Devahuti. Later, another Kapil Dev appeared who expounded atheistic Sankhya philosophy, which dealt with the 24 elements but gave no information about God. The original Kapila is called the Devahuti Putra Kapila and the other is called the atheist Kapila. Concerning Kapil Dev, Shaunaka Rishi says, Kapilas Tattva Sankhyata. Kapila is the Supreme Person. Therefore, he can explain the absolute truth. Actually, only Bhagavan can know the true position of the ultimate truth. No one else can know it. Bhagavan, Krishna, or his incarnation occasionally visits the earth to give humanity information about the aim of life. Thus, the Supreme Lord descended as Kapil Dev, Tattva Sankhyata. The word Sankhyata means expounder, and Tattva means the absolute truth. The absolute truth is Bhagavan, Shri Krishna himself. We cannot understand the absolute truth or the Supreme Person by mental speculation, especially when we are under the influence of the three modes of material nature, Sattva Guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Only those who are situated in Sattva Guna, the mode of goodness, are fit to understand the absolute truth. According to Bhagavad Gita 18.42, Those possessing Brahmanical qualifications are situated in Sattvaguna. Shamodamas tapa shocham shantir arjavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, knowledge, and righteousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. According to Vedic conception, there must be men in society who are factually Brahmanas, capable of expounding the real truth. If everyone becomes a Shudra, the absolute truth cannot be understood. It is said that at the present moment in Kali Yuga, everyone is a Shudra. Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. And it is very difficult in this age to find qualified Brahmanas, for they are very rare. There is practically not a single qualified Brahmana in this age. Prayanalpayusha sabhya kalav asmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadritaha. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10. The people in this age are very short-lived and slow in understanding spiritual life. Actually, human life is meant for understanding spiritual values, but because everyone in this age is a Shudra, no one is interested. People have forgotten life's real purpose. The word manda means both slow and bad, and everyone in this age is either bad or slow or a combination of both. People are unfortunate and disturbed by so many things. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, there will eventually be no rain and consequently a scarcity of food. The governments will also levy very heavy taxes. The characteristics of this age predicted by Srimad Bhagavatam are already being experienced to some degree. Since Kali Yuga is a very miserable age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Sri Krishna himself, advises everyone simply to chant Hare Krishna. Harir Nam, Harir Nam, Harir Nam eva kevalam kalau nasteva 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 katir anyatha. In this age of Kali, there is no alternative, there is no alternative, there is no alternative for spiritual progress than the holy name, the holy name, the holy name of the Lord. Brihan Naradiya Puran. This process is not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's invention, but is advised by the Shastras, the Puranas. The process for this Kali Yuga is very simple. One need only chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Since everyone in this age is an unintelligent, unfortunate, and disturbed Shudra, how can anyone understand the absolute truth or the aim of life? As stated by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam svajamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of a religion, at that time I descend myself. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll pause here. Yes, this age of Kali Yuga is very, very degraded, but at the same time we see here at the end, as Srila Prabhupada is explaining, is also very, very auspicious for us, because Mahaprabhu has come and made it so simple for us to just, because our minds are so distracted, we are so slow, as Prabhupada is saying, and we're so disturbed, there's hardly any time, any focus, right? Everybody is so bifurcated, trifurcated, or multifurcated in their attention. It's so hard to catch hold of your mind and make it sit in, still in one place, focus on one thing. But just by chanting this one Mahamantra, as we had the darshan of Shri Nitai Navdeep Bihariji during our Purnima celebration on Saturday, he had his one finger up in the air, right? And he said, just do this one thing, right? That is his only instruction as Mahaprabhu. Just do one thing, oh fallen souls. He's addressing all of us, at least me for sure. That I can't do 100 things. At least I can do one thing, and that is to chant the holy names. So that is the message by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for everybody in this age of Kali. And the Lord, of course, comes in different yugas. So Prabhupada is so nicely connecting everything, from Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says here that the Lord comes in different yugas to establish the principles of religion and eradicate the devious people. And yeah, here in this, as we're reading Lord Kapila's appearance, and again, Lord Kapila is also teaching in a prior age to his mother the principles of religion. But again, for us in this age, it is made very, very simplified by our most munificent, most magnanimous, most merciful incarnation of the Lord in the form of Lord Gauranga, because he is coming in the mood of Srimati Radharani, who is our eternal well-wisher, as Srila Prabhupada is, our Shiksha Guru, our eternal well-wisher, our eternal companion. So similarly, Srimati Radharani, as the topmost devotee of the Lord, is also same, because that mood of Srimati Radharani, the most merciful, most compassionate mood, is what is being brought by our Guru Parampara. So just by following their instructions, we all can progress slowly but steadily, and for sure on this path of devotional service. So wonderful read of this book, and just as these rishis, Shaunaka Rishi is asking this question to Suta Goswami, and Vidura is talking to Maitreya, and of course Parikshit Maharaj talking to or understanding this from Shukadev Goswami. Similarly, we all here are assembling in the morning and hearing directly from Srila Prabhupada. So that is the mood that we should imbibe this knowledge to hear from our acharyas. And like we always say, Prabhupada himself said, so he's there in his books. So just by reading these books, we're directly hearing from Srila Prabhupada, and we are holding on to his dhoti, onto his stick, we're holding on to his fingers, and he will take us back home, back to Godhead. Alright, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anybody else would like to share anything that you liked from today's reading? Yes, any other thoughts, any comments? Okay. If no other thoughts, then probably we'll pause here for today. Hopefully you all can take some time to reflect on what we read today, meditate on these instructions, and we will continue on the journey tomorrow, and hopefully we'll hear more reflections and realizations from other devotees. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनन्तकोटि वैष्णववृन्द की जय। जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल।
Hari Hari. Have a great day, Madhuri. Hare Krishna.
कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.